How you start your website should be like how you start your day. I like to start with a fresh shave and a filtered shower. Then I'll prepare a fresh cup of Brita water to heat it up.
He's heating up.
Before I get a scoop or two of fresh ground coffee. I'll pour in the hot water into my French press. Then I'll let it brew, and this is where you gotta be patient, y'all. So in the meantime, I'll continue preparing by adding almond milk, because the regular milk just don't do the body good, if you know what I mean. Let's top it off with a little bit of that sugar, and yes, I said sugar, right before we press that launch button. And now it's time for blast off. Let's go! Woo! Oh yeah, and don't forget to stir it up some to blend in those flavors.
He's on fire.
And that's how we start fresh on WordPress.
He's on fire.
Welcome to Lesson 8. In this lesson, we're going to discuss setting up your website for basic SEO and web analytics, as well as look at some opportunities for adding custom code to your website, sometimes without having to know the code yourself. When it comes to your WordPress website, I just want to give you some ideas how you want to think about setting your website up for SEO purposes and web analytics purposes. What I've already done is installed some SEO plugins that I just want to show you, and then I'll let you know what I use. And then we're going to go over some other third-party tools as well that you may want to think about when doing SEO and website analytics. So let's just start here. As you can see, I have a few plugins on here, but most of them are redundant because I just wanted to show you there are a lot of options out there. We have all-in-one SEO, we have Rank Math SEO, we have SEO Press, and Yoast SEO. If you go to the WordPress repository and you just type in SEO, you'll see that these are the 4 top ones: Yoast, Rank Math, All-in-One, and SEO Press. These are going to be the main SEO plugins that you'll want to think about which one you want to use, which one makes sense for your website, for your needs. The SEO plugin that I use is going to be Rank Math. I used to use SEO Press, but then I just found I like Rank Math a little bit more because some of the features that it comes with, that's all. But SEO Press is a great option. For the most part, I will definitely say if you don't need it, there's no specific reason why you need it, I would avoid Yoast. It's not that I have anything against Yoast personally. They just had some questionable scenarios that happened in the past, and they can get pretty expensive once you start adding add-ons. Other features that you need from an SEO plugin, Yoast will not give those for free, and they'll wax you or they'll make you pay for every, single add-on. Whereas with Rank Math, outside of the new features that it has, like the AI and other things like that, it's free and it will do mostly everything you need for it to do. And then if you want to pay for the pay plan, it has some pro features as well, but it's not like they're trying to nickel and dime you for every single feature. So that's the reason why I'm a big fan of Rank Math. Plus, Rank Math is compatible and integratable with so many other different tools because it's more popular. Yoast used to be the mecca. It was the 800-pound gorilla, like WooCommerce is to e-commerce for WordPress, but Rank Math has become a household name as well too. So that's why I just wanted you to see these are all great options. My recommendation is either use Rank Math or SEO Press or even All-in-One. Yoast, even though, yes, it's popular, it has this, I think that they get this based on because it's one of the biggest known SEO plugins. They're one of the most popular SEO plugins, and it helps when you have 10 million active installations. You're going to get more installations just from you showing you have a lot of installations. So let's go to install plugins here. And that's the first thing I want to start with. When you're thinking about SEO for WordPress, you want to think about an SEO plugin. No, SEO is not just a plugin. You don't just add a plugin to your website and all of a sudden your website is SEO'd. That's not how it works. It will get you we'll say 70 to 80% of the way. Then you got to do some other things to help improve that. All right. Let me just activate Rank Math real quick. When I do, it's going to go through a prompt, or it's going to go through the onboarding experience that I'm not going to go through here in this video. I'm going to skip for now, and I'm going to skip. I'm going to return to the dashboard. but I just want you all to see that it does walk you through what you should or shouldn't have on. But for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm a big fan of Rank Math because they make things, pretty easy. As you can see, there's some pro features here. You can see there's a lot of free features. These are free features that do a lot for your website. That's one thing that I love about Rank Math. And there are plenty of tutorials and videos out there, as I mentioned. So what I'm going to do is get deeper in the official video, but I just wanted you to see this is what I use when it comes to SEO. We're just going to start right there. Now, when it comes to your web analytics and adding that ability to be able to track and measure what you're doing, there are two main ways that I would suggest that you use. Either a plugin via WordPress or Google Tag Manager. So right now, the plugin that I would recommend that you use would be Pixel Your Site. This is a great plugin for those who don't want to learn Google Tag Manager, and for those who are just using WordPress. You typically don't need to use Google Tag Manager if you're only going to be doing basic and fundamental tags. I would avoid Google Tag Manager because it can get a little cumbersome and confusing at times. However, I'm not saying that Google Tag Manager is not necessary. Sometimes it is necessary and you don't want to use Pixel Your Site. And that's something that I've had to learn as well too. There's certain companies that I work with that I would recommend Google Tag Manager over Pixel Your Site, even if they're using WordPress. It may be sometimes because they have so many other third-party tracking platforms that don't work well with Pixel Your Site, or Pixel Your Site doesn't have the ability to integrate with. And that's when I'm like, we need to use Google Tag Manager. Plus, with Google Tag Manager, you may get even more flexibility. And remember, with flexibility comes complexity. You gotta add those two together. With flexibility comes complexity. So for Pixel Your Site, the free version is pretty self-explanatory. It comes with Facebook and Google, and all you have to do is add your Google Analytics tracking ID. And that's pretty much it for there. If you want to do custom events and add more events, you can do so here by adding an event right here. It's very parallel to what you'll be doing in Google Tag Manager. So let me go to Google Tag Manager real quick, and just to show you that with Google Tag Manager, the way you look at it is you create these tags, and then you have triggers and you have variables. So tags are basically like the events here that you have here. And Google Tag Manager also has variables as well, and they also have triggers, but they call triggers something else. But it's all the same thing, just a different naming convention. I'm just letting you know that's pretty much how it is. With Google Analytics, now that Google Analytics 4 is officially the global tool that everybody's using because they got rid of Universal Analytics, I don't even have to bring up the whole Universal Analytics thing as far as you switching from this to that, because if you haven't done it by now, it's too late. They've already made their moves. But with Google Analytics, we are using GA4. It is changing every month and often, while they optimize it. But for the most part, it can be a little confusing for those who are new to it. So I just want to let you know that if you are new to Google Analytics and Google Analytics 4, GA4 specifically, we're going to dive deeper in the official course. But you want to add your, what they call a data stream, add your website here in data streams right here. And you would choose web for those of y'all using WordPress. And then you would add your website URL, your stream name, pretty much leave all these settings on. But there are some optimization opportunities that I want to show you all later that most people don't think about. However, as I always say, Google loves Google more than Kanye loves Kanye. That's a lot of love. And so Google Analytics is going to play really well with Google Tag Manager, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't play well with Pixel Your Site, because all you're pretty much doing here is adding in your tracking ID that you will get from Google Analytics. Once you go through this setup data stream right here, it's going to give you a tracking ID. So I just want to let you know that right now. Now, here's the thing that I think a lot of people skip out on because they're not thinking about their website from a Google search engine perspective. The thing about Google Analytics is that you could be using this on multiple, how do I say, well, they call it streams, but you can have this on iOS, Android, web, and you can also use this for other reasons outside of just Google search, meaning that it's counting on your traffic, right? It's not about Google search. Yes, it does integrate and it is showing you Google search information as well, meaning people searching on Google, but it's about all traffic. No matter where your traffic is coming from, that's what Google Analytics is for. So don't get this confused when I show you this next part, because a lot of people do. They look at Google Analytics and sometimes they think it's only about Google, and it's not, okay? Now, Google Search Console, and that's why the word search is in it, Google Search Console This is all about Google search. So where Google Analytics will measure traffic coming from all sources, Google Search Console is measuring your traffic coming from Google Search. It's a great tool if you are looking to do real SEO and optimize your website for Google, and Google has like what, 80-90% of the internet. I don't know what it is at the time of this video, but they own the internet search engine marketing share. You definitely want to add Google Analytics to your website in tandem with Google Search Console. And the great part about this is if you go to product links here, you see Google Search Console links, you can connect your property. So you can connect Google Search Console with Google Analytics, and that way you can see data from Google Search Console right in your Google Analytics. That's something that I see a lot of people skip. They don't even think about that. I'm like, yo, you missing out on a lot of different data points that can give you a bigger picture. And it's just going to help you make decisions better on optimizing your website for later. So that way you can get better, more traffic, quality traffic. You can get better conversions. You can just do so many things. Speaking of conversions, it is crazy how they did rename conversions to key events. People still call them conversions in Google Analytics. They're technically conversions, but they renamed them to key events. And Google Analytics 4, it tracks and measures through events. Unlike the Universal Analytics, their previous way of doing things, it wasn't doing things by events. It was more by sessions. So this is events. Universal Analytics was by sessions. Google Analytics is by events. Like, what are the activities happening on your website? Those are called events. All right. And then key events are conversions, and you can set those up as well too. And I'll show you how to set those up in the actual official course. So we have Google Tag Manager here, we have Google Analytics, and then we have Google Search Console. And Google Analytics integrates with Google Search Console as well as Google Tag Manager with Google Analytics. Okay. The next one is going to be Clarity. Now, this is my favorite user behavior tool. And when people talk about user behavior, when people talk about UX, user experience, they sometimes only count on Google Analytics to give you user experience. And I'm like, no, that's not what you want to do. There's a reason why there's a tool out there called Hotjar. It was very popular. It still is very popular. But then Microsoft Clarity said we can do better in terms of offering just something like Hotjar, but it's only focused on user behavior and it's free. There is no paid plan for Microsoft Clarity. And you get to see so much data in a different way. Not only do you get to see similar data to Google Analytics, but you see data that you won't find in Google Analytics, such as recordings, right? And heat maps. You will not find recordings and heat maps in Google Analytics. You're just not going to find it. And this is important. Why? When we're talking about user experience, we're talking about optimizing for the user experience. We want to see what they're doing, how far they're scrolling, what they're clicking on, what area are they clicking on. These are very important things that Google Analytics 4, as dope as it is, it's not gonna show you that information. So we have to be careful when we use this word user experience in tandem with website analytics, and we're only thinking about Google Analytics, whereas Microsoft Clarity is literally just that. This is us being able to see the user's experience, where we can see what the users are doing, not just through data, but for real, meaning like we have recordings. They have recordings, and then they also have live as well too. You can see people scrolling on your website, experiencing your website live. That's why it says no live recordings found. Kind of weird they call it recordings when it's live, but either way, they say no live recordings found. But you're able to see exactly what a person is doing on the website, where they're scrolling at, where they're moving at, and then you can optimize from there. That's something to think about when you are thinking about user experience, optimizing for user experience. Okay. And then when it comes to connecting these tools with your website, one of the ways to do so, everybody doesn't do it this way, but one of the ways to do so is going to be Sitekit by Google. This is Google's tool. This is the official Google tool for WordPress. Okay, so it's not a third-party tool. It's an official tool that allows you to connect your website. I'm not going to sign in right now, but it allows you to connect directly to Google Tag Manager. It allows you to connect directly to Google Analytics, to your Google Search Console. It allows you to connect directly to your properties from these tools with Google Sitekit. That's why they have their logo right there. And I use it all the time. This is one of my favorite ways of connecting my analytics properties. Now, what I do is I will connect through Google Analytics here, and then I'll shut off the connection, because you can connect your website to your Google Analytics through Pixel Your Site, but then you can use Sitekit to actually show you the data. And what I love about Sitekit is it will show you a dashboard just like analytics here or just like Search Console. Now, it won't show you all the data that you would find in Google Analytics or Google Search Console. It won't show you all this data, but it will show you a good amount of it. And then it will display a link that you can link directly to those reports. And then it'll open up Google Analytics or it'll open up Google Search Console. So you got to think about that when it comes to, do you want to see your analytics directly in WordPress? If you don't want to see your analytics directly in WordPress and you don't want to connect your website to Google Analytics through Google Sitekit, well, then you probably don't need Google Sitekit. I'm gonna just be honest and real with you right there. You don't need it. But if you want to see Google Analytics on your website, that's one reason why you may want to use Google Sitekit, right? Another reason is it connects directly to Google Analytics and you can bypass Pixel Your Site. Now here's the thing, with Pixel Your Site, it allows you to create events, right? You can create custom events, things that you want to track that aren't tracked out the box by Google, because Google Analytics, it does track a lot of things natively out the box, way more than it did with Universal Analytics. I'm telling you, and it's dope, right? It saves you so much time. However, it doesn't track everything, and there's some custom things that you may want to track on your own. So it's best to do so either using Pixel Your Site, creating an event, or Google Tag Manager by creating a tag. You want to do it one of those two ways, either Pixel Your Site, creating an event, or Google Tag Manager, creating a tag to track custom events. Then you got to go into Google Analytics, and then you got to set up your custom events through this way. And that's something that right here, you can see key events. So you see events right here, right? You want to create an event. Then after you create the event, you'll see your key events right here. Remember, key events are basically conversions. Do not get them confused. We have events, we have key events. Key events are basically conversions. So you want to first see what is already set up on your behalf. And what I like about this, it says mark as key event. All I have to do is toggle this on. When I toggle this on, it'll appear here in key events. That easy. So then you can start tracking your conversions in Google Analytics just like that. Now for custom events, there is more, I'll say, developer type of things you need to do. And I'm saying developer on a fundamental level because, like I said, it's not that hard once you do it a few times and then you memorize or you have noted down that workflow and then you want to do another one, you want to follow that workflow. Otherwise, Google does a really good job by once they catch an event, once you make an event, you can click this button and it'll turn it to a key event. So that's something to think about right there. Microsoft Clarity also integrates with Google Analytics. Now, in my opinion, the integration is cool. It doesn't do anything special except shows your Google Analytics and Microsoft Clarity. Then you can compare and contrast. I'm on the Microsoft Clarity demo here and it's in the settings area, so that's why you don't see it, but you can compare and contrast. It's cool. I'm still waiting for more things or what else I can do with it, but for now it's cool. The main thing you want to think about is making sure that in your Google Analytics that you have your Search Console connected with your Google Analytics. So you have Search Console connected with Google Analytics and that you definitely have your Google Analytics. If you don't have Google Analytics connected to your website, well, then what are you doing? You're not really tracking anything, and then you won't see any data in your analytics. So it's something for you to think about too. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you was if you need to add code to your website, right? And you don't want to do it the developer way, which is what we're here for. This is what this course is for, not doing things the developer way. This is where you want to add a code snippet plugin like WP Code Lite or Code Snippets. I love these plugins, even though I don't use them specifically. I use another plugin called WP Codebox, which is a paid plugin, and it's the same thing as the ones I'm showing you, except I like this because there's just some features with it that the other ones don't have. Plus, I got a lifetime deal when it came out a few years ago, and they've been optimizing it ever since. So I'm like, well, I don't need to use something else. I'm not going to use something else. But for those of you all who are on a budget and you can afford to, get a paid code snippet plugin because there's so many other things you have to pay for, and I get it, trust me. With code snippet plugins, basically, you're able to add code to your website, or you can use one of their pre-made code templates, and in that way you can avoid having to add a plugin when you need a specific type of functionality. You want to, hide something, you want to disable something, you want to add duplicate, you want to do these other things to your website that don't come out the box with your website. You can add a code snippet to your website and avoid adding a plugin. I love that. that saves so much bloat, so many plugins, so many possibilities of issues and conflicts happening on your website just by adding a code snippet. So you got to think about that. That's pretty much all you have to do is add a code snippet and you're there. And then sometimes these plugins will give you the ability, let me see, add a new snippet right here. So add custom snippet, boom. So you would add your code snippet here. And this is the great part about the time. I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, I'm not gonna do a rant, but I'm gonna let you know, this is a great time in history from a technology standpoint where if this were a few years ago, you would have to look up, you'd have to either know the code or have to look it up on some website or something like that. You don't have to do none of that no more. You can use a ChatGPT or a Claude or a Gemini or whatever to whip up the code for you and then you plop it in here. You couldn't do that years ago. I'm trying to tell you, like, that used to get on my nerves how much research I had to do to find certain snippets or to find certain things, or I had to talk to a developer or use a developer. And now you can use AI to whip up a code snippet and then you copy and paste that joint and you put it right here. And then you're all good to go. That's why I'm saying we are spoiled right now all over the world because of AI when it comes to building out websites. But just make sure that you do this responsibly, because I'm not saying that this is a method that won't cause issues, will never cause issues. I'm not saying that. It can cause issues too if you have conflicting code snippets or you're not being responsible managing and organizing your snippets or putting wrong code in, right? You don't even want to put wrong code in. However, this is way better than what it used to be back in the day. I'm trying to tell y'all. It's way better than what it used to be just a few years ago. So this is some secret sauce I'm giving y'all. Stop using plugins for minuscule functionality, for small functionality. If you're going to use a plugin, make sure that it's not only a plugin that's tried and true, that's popular, that works, but has multi-purpose functionality. Otherwise, use a code snippet if it's only a couple things you need from that plugin or one thing you need from that plugin. Stop adding a whole bunch of plugins like you a kid in the candy store when you in his WordPress repo, aka the repository. That's going to get you in trouble. So hopefully this was helpful for those of y'all who are just getting into WordPress or needed a refresher. I appreciate everybody who has watched this course, who has stuck with me, who has learned something, who has commented on any of the videos or gave a thumbs up. I appreciate every single person because this was not easy to make, and the official course is going to be harder, right? This was something that I'm like, let me create a course, a preliminary course, the precursor. I don't know how to say that, but something to get you guys ready for what's getting ready to come. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on that Thanos. I'm on my Thanos, right? I want to get y'all ready for what's ready to come, but I also want your feedback. I want your opinions. I need them because I want to polish this course off so that way when I create the official course and I release it to the public, the investment is justified by how much time and effort that I put into it by listening. My ears are small, right? They're small, but they hear well. By listening to you all before I put too much inside of something that you all didn't even want to learn or didn't even want to know. So I just want to say again, thank you for rocking out with me. Thank you for being here. For those of y'all who watched the whole course, thank you again. I can't thank you enough. I'll probably say thank you one more time. Thank you. I feel like DJ Khaled. You special, you smart, and another one, and another one. Thank you, and another one. Thank you, and another one. Thank you. All right, y'all, get ready. I'm telling you, the official course Start Fresh on WordPress is about to be the fresherest, the freshest, the most fresh of the refreshness that you can freshery be. It's going to be that top joint. And with y'all's help, with your help, I'm going to make it worth it. We're going to have fun. It's going to be entertaining. Trust me, man, this is going to be one of the funnest, dopest WordPress courses that anybody has ever taken that is a beginner of WordPress, hasn't used WordPress, just started using WordPress or needed a refresher, or just wants to have some fun and have some laughs. Some people may take this course just because they want to crack up, because we gon' do that thing. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and this was Start Fresh on WordPress. The beginning, the precursor, the introduction. This was the freshness. We out, and I'm out. Peace.